been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
Welcome back to the best podcast that
One day close to a long weekend.
best podcast that you can have.
Best father and son podcast out there ever.
Could you let me finish already? Best podcast that you could put in your ears and just listen to our voices. You and those freaking buttons, man. We got some really cool, interesting stuff to talk about, but we're going to kick it off with some just news, just general news to keep you guys in the loop and our opinions about it. So go ahead and kick us off. I know you got some opinions over there.
The Johns Hopkins map shows that we are now 5 million cases now for the total coronavirus. That is worldwide. And another thing about this thing is people are pigs.
Mardi Gras on the go.
They're showing a lot of beaches and stuff where there's mass washing up on shore, and these people are throwing gloves down in the parking lots, and people are really, really disgusting.
Yes. I saw that one picture of that guy they're cleaning the beaches, and literally all you see is masks and as if this coronavirus wasn't a sign to begin with. Let's still trash it.
The thing that concerns me the most is yesterday the World Health Organization announced that we had the largest one-day spike in cases throughout the world since this has all broken out and started. Yesterday we had the highest total of number of cases worldwide. There's news coming out now where somebody leaked that China had over 640,000 cases of coronavirus.
I believe that this was man-made. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
There was a bar in Houston. I don't remember the name of it. I heard it on 105.3 The Fan today. They opened up, and they were at max capacity. And they actually had to get the cops come in and close them down because people just started going back to their normal thing. Yeah. And everyone's expecting bad things out of this.
What I think is going through people's minds is you have days that are nice, okay? And think about, our area. Not many people with the coronavirus that we know of. It's usually a lot of the bigger cities. So I think you get these people who you haven't seen anything. You're looking at a different part of the glass and you're seeing, maybe it's not that bad out there. And then they kind of forget everything that's happening and they kind of just try and live their life back to normal. But obviously we need to take it slow and allow the states to allow us to do our things.
Let's face it, we all want to get back to normal.
But margaritas on the go were released today by our governor. I saw you sent me. Governor Wolf allowing restaurants to basically Grubhub you alcohol? Is that basically what that was?
So what does that mean? There's going to be a lot of DUIs now?
Well, how would that be a DUI if they're Grubhubbing it to you?
But if you say you order it and you pull up and you get it yourself, you order it and you pick it up.
My thing is, why would you want to order a drink when you could just go to your nearest grocery store and pick up a six-pack?
Make your own damn margaritas.
I feel like it wouldn't be
some of those
as
White
good.
Claws.
I feel like you would have to chug it in the parking lot because by the time you get home, I feel like it wouldn't be as good. That's just my opinion on the matter. I mean, I don't know what you think about it, but that was stupid to me. I just didn't. Okay, out of all the most important things going on in this world, was there really necessary for you to sign a bill about being able to pick up drinks? I mean, I get it. Restaurants, they need to. They can make more money, I guess, if their bar is open.
Well, I tell you what. I drive home every day down MacArthur Road, and all those fast food joints, Wendy's, Burger King,
Do you know who's making the most money right now?
Chick-fil-A's making a killing. Oh, God, they're making a killing.
I go to the one over there in Low and Azure by my girlfriend's house, and when I tell you
the line is
wraps around the house around the Chick-fil-A double wide, and then it comes out into the street almost a full. I mean, I heard the one in Whitehall the one day they had to call the cops to help direct traffic.
Yeah,
because it was almost back into the highway.
Yeah, because their parking lot is really short, and their driveway is really short compared to most of them. But I saw they put that sign up for Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes. I did see that.
Can't wait till that opens up.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever had Jersey Mike's, but I like a good hoagie.
Sandwiches. Good
I like Wawa, though. Wawa is making a killing, too.
Yeah.
Do you have any more updates?
Nothing about the coronavirus.
We'll go right into it then.
No, I have one more thing.
I got sunburn on my thighs, just so you know, it burns.
They showed on the news yesterday and this morning that 2 dams broke in Michigan and that they're flooding and houses are washing away and everything.
That's that video I showed you on TikTok.
They interviewed this one woman. She's like, well, we have a pandemic. We have the flooding. Where are the locusts? Meaning, biblical.
Yeah.
Well, she might get her wish. It's not locusts, but it's the 17th year of the cicadas. Every 17 years, the cicadas come out of the soil when it warms up, and millions of them come out to mate, and they'll die at the end of the summer. Well, This is the 17th year, and the cicadas are already infesting South
Do you remember
Carolina,
this? Do you
North
remember this
Carolina,
last time it
Washington,
happened?
D.C., and they're heading north.
You know what I thought the other day? I went on a hike. Remember the lanternflies last year?
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of those.
that's what brought the coronavirus over here. China brought those damn bugs over here. They spread the coronavirus.
But you notice you haven't seen any of those yet.
No. They're
Where
not.
they at?
I don't know.
They hibernate?
I have no idea.
You think those things hibernate?
I have no idea.
Where'd they go?
Don't know.
Did they just die? Anyway, well, Wednesday, the Saints announced that their partnership with the Mercedes-Benz will end after the 2021 season. Mercedes-Benz also owns the Atlanta Falcons stadiums to the name, which opened in 2027. But today we got an update about somebody that wants their name
I know, and you were all
on
worried
that
about this.
Superdome.
You were all worried.
An adult website called Strip Chat makes a $15 million bid for the Saints Superdome naming rights.
You were all worried like they were going to take a dildo and stick it on top of the roof and call it
My thing is,
Big
dude,
Dong Superdome.
like when I say the Saints Superdome, I always say it's Saints Superdome. But Mercedes Saints Super. Now it's going to be Strip Chat Superdome. But listen, this is what the guy says.
It might not be that name.
I don't think. Well, that's the name he wants. He said. There's an interview. Let me get to it. I don't think the NFL should do. I don't like it. Let me show you though.
It's a
By the way,
business.
I was doing some research on this, and I guess there's a porn website called Bang Bros who I think it was 2 years ago tried to get the name rights of the Miami Heat, and obviously they didn't want to do it because it's a touchy subject.
You can't have Bang Bros on the
This-
inside of your building. You know what I mean?
This is what the guy said. He said, "We have been looking into penetrating the sports world." He said penetrating.
Yeah.
Penetrating the sports world, and this is a wonderful opportunity. I'd like to think that here at the Strip Chat embody that we embody some of the New Orleans characters and flair. Our communication director, Max Bennett, said he likes to think that they represent the New Orleans Saints people, the people of New Orleans.
It's a party
He
town.
wants to penetrate the sports world and get his name on that Superdome.
First of all, you got to understand something. These arenas, they change names. They sign contracts,
As long as I can remember, though, it's been the Mercedes-Benz, so it's going to be weird.
Unfortunately, we live in a world where there's a lot of perverts. The porn industry is a billion-dollar industry.
Huge.
And as long as they keep it clean and they do their stuff, I mean, they're going to be willing to pay $12 to $15 million.
$15 million. You think that he can bid $15 million? Just think about how much money. I've never heard of this website. Have
It's
you?
already a sin state. You have Mardi Gras.
We've
you have
been
a lot
there.
of
You
stuff
saw all
down
the
there.
drinking.
You
and
have the New
everything.
Orleans Saints who cover up crimes for the
Listen,
pastors
it was the
down
owner
there.
that died. And you can't blame the players. My thing is, I actually thought the one time I thought it was stupid that there was two Mercedes-Benz stadiums because you had the Falcons that opened up in 2017, and I kind of was like, that's kind of stupid, So I kind of.
How many times have the Sixers changed their name of their arena?
I don't.
So many times.
I don't remember.
A lot.
I've only ever remembered the Wells Fargo.
When you
What was before
sign
that?
you sign that contract, you rent that out.
What was before Wells Fargo?
I don't remember exactly.
I think you're lying.
No, it's they change them all the time. You pay a name a fee to get your name on the building.
Yeah. Now, just so you know,
just think about it. That $15 million is going to keep the lights on for you guys.
you said last podcast.
Here we go.
If you didn't listen to the last podcast, just go check it out. It was pretty good. NFL could lose $5.5 billion on stadium revenue. No fans, a lot of money gone. They said NFL games without fans would affect every team, but the New Orleans Saints, for some reason, you think about the popularity, how many people come to watch Saints game. It's a tourist attractment. What? How do you say that? Attractment? Say it with me. How you
You're
say
good.
it? Okay. But the New Orleans I hate those buttons. The New Orleans Saints stand to lose more than most. They would lose $441 million if they have no fans. And then you think about, they said the toll.
I don't know how you could say that. I don't know where they get those numbers from, because if you look at the amount of people that fit into the Superdome compared to a AT&T Stadium, the Falcon Stadium, the Cowboys have 100,000+ people that come to their games.
Listen, they said, you think about the city of New Orleans, it's a big tourist attractment. I'm going to skip that part. I can't say it today.
Edit.
But listen, you think about how poor New Orleans honestly is. We've been there. We've seen it.
Yeah.
So you think about how many people come to Mardi Gras, how many people come to Bourbon Street. You know, it makes a lot of money for them. Obviously, with the coronavirus, they're losing money already. So there's already a crisis that they're dealing with. You take away the Superdome, that city's losing a lot of money.
Yeah, but the Superdome doesn't really do anything. I mean, they have their state fair there, but they don't really.
No, I'm talking about, like, as far as the games, like, that helps the city out. I mean, you think about Eagles. We live next to Philadelphia. They not only have Eagles, but they say the Eagles couldn't play this year. They still have the Philadelphia baseball. They still have hockey. They still have basketball. You know what I mean? Like, there's other stuff that they can bring in. As you look at the New Orleans.
Yeah, but they're not bringing it into that arena.
I know. I'm just saying. They're talking about how, like, the city's already dealing with a crisis with the coronavirus, and, like, you know, they won't get any They won't get any people to come into their city. But they would lose $441 million with no fans.
Well, they're saying that the Yankees in baseball will lose the most. They'll lose over $300 million. Now, I can see why. I mean, season tickets behind home plate go for $100,000 a seat.
Yeah.
I don't think Superdome tickets cost that much. I mean, I don't know. I mean, let's face it. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be affected by this.
Yeah, apparently the Saints will be the worst, though.
You think about it, you know, there's other stadiums out there that hold concerts, that hold, you know, other sporting events, whole boxing matches, whole college sports in them. It's going to affect a lot of these teams. But I don't feel bad for these teams because they make billions of dollars a year.
Well, they're going to lose millions.
Oh, well, 1 year. Okay.
Listen, you say you don't care, but you enjoy watching your team play at that stadium, do you not?
I do, but
what happens to Jerry Jones?
but I
loses
don't-
all his money. And next
I
you know,
don't-
there ain't no more Dallas Cowboys.
first of all, there's always going to be Dallas Cowboys.
I know.
There's always going
I'm
to be.
just saying.
That's America's team. They've been around a long time. You know, but I don't sit back and say, man, Jerry Jones is taking a beating this year. No, the guy's an oil man. He's a billionaire over and over again. The guy owns a $250 million yacht. I don't think this year is going to hurt him.
I have a question for you. Do you know anything about oil rigs?
No.
I always see these videos. I heard
You
you say
set
oil
up, you
rig.
dig for oil.
What
and
I
then
what
you
I
hope
don't
you
understand
find
is
it.
you always see those videos where they pull the pump out, they move it, they put something else on it, and I've been seeing those a lot lately on TikTok, and I'm addicted to TikTok. And I was like curious as like, do you just you just dig and you find oil and you just constantly moving pipes
No,
through
like
it?
they
I'd
sample
love to
the
learn about
soil.
that.
It's a crapshoot, you know.
I heard to make good money, though.
Once you find the right spot, yeah. I mean, Jerry Jones is an oil man.
No,
Maybe we can get him on the podcast and we'll talk about oil.
I heard some oil. No,
Get some Errol on it.
no, I just heard that like you make good money if you work there though. Like I'm not talking about the people that own it.
I don't know. Maybe we can get an oil rig guy on here too. I mean, I don't.
Mikey
I,
work on an oil rig?
Yeah. I don't know what he makes.
Anyway, NFL onside kick rule change proposal. Have you seen this?
No.
This is very interesting. Jake Kerchner just texted me, said he's done. If he wants to, like, well, maybe we'll call him. Maybe we'll call him.
Are they gonna have the XFL style in it?
No, this is pretty cool. So instead of going for an onside kick, this would give the teams a chance to maintain a possession by going for it on a 4th and 15 from their own 25-yard line. If you get it, you get the ball back. That is very interesting. First of all, I feel like a 4th and 15, I feel like a lot of teams can get a 4th and 15.
Yeah.
But teams would only be allowed to do this more than 2 times per game if the rule is changed. So instead of, I mean, my thing though too is you think about the onside kick success. When's the last, like how many times in a season do you see actually an onside kick work anymore?
Yeah. See,
It's
I'm not
the same
even
anymore.
worried about the onside kick. They should come up with a
Oh,
situation.
I got some other stuff right here.
But they
you know?
should come up with another situation where you can go for a 4th and 20.
It's a 4th 15 you go for.
Yeah, but
That's what it is.
But I think 4th and 15.
It's too easy.
Yeah, but I think they need to work on their overtime rules.
Yes.
I think the
I would love
overtime
to do
rules should
college
be like
rules.
college or XFL.
Now this rule was tested out at the Pro Bowl this year. It was tested out where Kirk Cousins went for it on 4th and 15. He threw a pick to Earl Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 7 other rules that they are trying to push into. I didn't get all of them, but there's a rule being voted on that would include an additional of a booth umpire as an 8th official to the game crews, and expanding automatic replay reviews for scoring plays, turnovers negated by a penalty, and all successful or unsuccessful try attempts.
I see that they also changed the head coaching hiring rules for the Rooney
Yeah.
Rule, where like if you sign an African American coach, you can pick up 3 or 4 more spots in the draft in the 3rd round. If you hire an African American as your GM, which the Cowboys can do right now because they have one on board, you can move up. I think it's a total of 16 spots in the draft in the 3rd round.
There's a lot going on with
Which
high
is
levels.
weird because I think you would have to do that. I mean, I didn't read it. I heard him talking about it. You would have to do that before a certain point, so everyone's locked into their draft. Because you can't be like draft day. Okay, I'm going to hire this guy and then jump up 16 spots on draft day.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm setting up a caller for us, but I agree with you there. Call this in 5 minutes. We're gonna get a caller in 5 minutes, but okay. Do you want him out? You want him on now? Or you want to just keep going?
Oh, hold on. Alden Smith was reinstated by the Cowboys by Roger Goodell.
Josh Gordon's trying to get in also.
He hasn't played since I think 2013 or 2014. He's replacing Randy Quinn. I hope that he can get at least 5 or 6 sacks. So Randy Gregory coming back at 5 or 6 sacks.
This guy that's getting reinstated,
Alden
since
Smith?
he got kicked out already, is he automatically Dallas's for the picking?
Yeah, Dallas already signed him to a deal. 4-year deal with incentives.
Isn't there
a $4 million
that's the guy you
deal
got
for
from who
incentives?
played with Oakland, right?
Yeah.
But isn't there a guy that used to play with Dallas that is also trying to get reinstated?
Yeah, Randy Gregory.
Now, since he played with Dallas last,
He's still under contract with Dallas. He hasn't
so
played a full season.
he would still be a Dallas Cowboy if he got back in.
He's got a Snoop Dogg problem.
Yeah. Now, would he still be a Dallas Cowboy?
Yeah, he's still under contract with the Cowboys.
It's almost like when Marshawn Lynch wanted to come out of retirement, he was still
See,
technically under.
I don't know how his
Oakland's
contract's going to work out because he was under a rookie deal, which usually is a 4-year deal. He hasn't played a full season. As a matter of fact, he didn't play at all last year. So I don't know if they recoup that year or how it works. It's really crazy when it comes to his contract. But if we can get him back too, that'd be great.
And I know that Josh Gordon is trying to get reinstated. Do you want to hook up your phone just in case he calls you in 5 minutes? I gave him your number because you're close to that mixer over there. Now, obviously, some headlines that are going around is Seattle Seahawks trying to get a running back. You have Penny, who they believe will not be back in time.
Well, they reached out for Freeman.
Yes, I have my stats on that. Are you ready for this? Now, Penny and Carson were both injured, and they had to re-sign Marshawn Lynch, get him out of retirement, which he didn't play too bad. And Seattle Seahawks reportedly have offered Freeman a 1-year, $4 million contract. I guess it was $3 million up front, but I guess they would add up to $4 million. And he denied it. He also has the Jets and the Eagles that are currently interested in him. So he denies it, and now the Seahawks are reaching out to Carlos Hyde. They're not really sure if it's like going to be a real thing or not. But Carlos Hyde is also drawing interest from the Eagles. So you have the Eagles that are interested in Freeman and Hyde. But it's,
And McCoy.
yes.
That came out today.
Yeah. Now, it's weird because nobody was talking about running backs for a while. You know, Freeman's been a free agent for a while now.
Well, he's coming off an ACL tear.
Now, no, that was in 2018. I have a few stats here, actually. Freeman, he's 28. Now, I brought these up because I wanted to see who would you pick if you were Seattle, if you could get either one of these guys, or if you were the Eagles as a backup. You know, you have Hyde and Freeman. Hyde is 29. 2019 was his first season with 1,000 yards rushing. He had 6 touchdowns, only 42 yards receiving. So
He's only 28 years old, right?
He's 29. He's not really a receiving back. So last year he played a full season with Houston and played pretty well. And then the year before, you know, he was split between Jacksonville, Cleveland, only had 507 yards rushing. Like, he hasn't really – there was 1 year in San Francisco where he had 900, like 38. Last year was his first ever season, 1,000 yards rushing. So, I mean, I guess he is a guy that if you wanted to get a backup, that he could give you some yardage.
He could, but, you know, Seattle always tends to have a bunch of running backs on the roster.
Yeah. They have 2 good running backs, and they were doing really good together until they both got injured.
I wouldn't waste the money. I wouldn't waste the money on a running back.
I feel like if you could get Hyde for pretty cheap, like 1 year. Now, the thing with Freeman is Freeman's obviously looking for something more. I mean, he's 28. In 2019 was basically his first full season back from, you said, his injury. He had 656 rushing yards and only 2 touchdowns. A lot of people asked him, you know, you definitely had a decline in season. But he told them basically, you know, you guys do the stats, not me. I'll worry about playing the game of football.
You know, I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to. It's like National Geographic going on outside this window. You got a cat chasing a squirrel and a groundhog coming down getting ready to chase the cat. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Okay. That was Interesting. Thanks
Yeah.
for interrupting me.
You actually paused. I didn't interrupt you.
Anyways,
I'll keep you updated on what happens.
back to, please do. Back to picking Hyder Freeman. Freeman, obviously, in 2015, 2016, rushed for over 1,000 yards in both seasons and had 11 touchdowns. He had 865 rushing yards in 2017. He's been a good receiving back and a good rushing back. Is that our caller? All right, let's get him in here.
What's going on?
Yo, what's up, Jake? We are currently recording, so we're hopping right into it. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
We're doing good. We actually are just talking about how the Eagles are interested in Freeman and Hyde and McCoy.
Oh, no. Don't even get me started on this.
We were breaking down some of the stats. You know, you have Carlos Hyde, who's 29, Freeman, who's 28, and Freeman's definitely been the better back as far as stats.
I just think the Eagles don't need a running back. I mean,
Thank you, Chris.
I think of all the positions, maybe help with the receiver, help with the cornerbacks.
Yep, I agree. I think corner's gonna be all right. Receiver, we'll see. If Deshaun and Alshon stay healthy, I'm happy with receiver. But that's a big if.
Who is your backup running back, though, at the time?
Boston Scott, which I'm glad with. I mean, he's young.
Yeah.
He was dynamic last year. That's why I don't want a running back. They have Miles,
Yeah.
and then you have Boston Scott. I don't think they need to sign. Like Freeman's asking $4 million per year, and if you look at his stats over his career, he has 2 good years, and the rest of his years he's been injury ridden and hasn't done much.
Yeah, that's what we literally just said. Boston Scott, actually, I'm a little sad about because Saints drafted him, I want to say 2 years ago, and they cut him. And I was like, how are you going to draft a guy and just cut him?
And I think he had like one big preseason game too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
But
I still think you guys need receiver help, though, because you don't know what's going to happen with Jeffries. You sure as hell don't know what's going to happen with Jackson. He just can't stay healthy.
I agree.
And you guys, at the end of the season, you guys went more towards like what Kansas City runs, like in Baltimore, a 2 tight end set, which you have 2 of the best tight ends in the league.
I agree.
Now, we haven't had someone on as an Eagles fan since the draft. What is your take with the whole Jalen Hurts? And as far as the receiver you guys took at the first pick?
Before you answer that, there was breaking news today out of Philadelphia. Actually, Nate Sudfeld is actually named the quarterback by Doug Peterson.
Yep.
And they're saying Hurts can actually be a running back.
Yeah, and they said that he can do that, and then they're gonna just have him as the third guy to just learn everything and catch up to speed. Which I think that's fair to Nate, because like he would have been the backup last year if he didn't get hurt, and he's really not that bad of a backup quarterback. Like he's actually average.
Well, you know what that says to me? That has New Orleans written all over it, because Teddy was the backup last year. Taysom Hill, do it all.
Yep.
They're gonna make him a Taysom Hill.
I think Doug can make it work. As an Eagles fan, my first reactions are always harsh to picks I hate, but then I eventually will talk myself into it until I'm proven wrong. Because like it's not the players' fault that the Eagles took them and I didn't want them, so I have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
So speaking while I'm like saying that, the first round pick, I hated first reaction. I would have taken Justin Jefferson 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I probably now might have taken him 8 times out of 10. I've dialed it back a bit just from watching more tape of Rager, and like he seems like a great guy, and I love him on social media, and he's explosive, and they need that. So I'm okay with first round in hindsight. Second round, my initial reaction was literally the most shocked I have been for any team's pick in my entire life of watching the draft.
Well, I was watching your Twitter and I was laughing my ass off.
Yep, it was bad. I couldn't even believe it. Somebody, because I think Scott Howard texted. No one probably besides or listen to this know who that is, but my friend texted in our group text. You guys are gonna hate this pick. It's Jalen Hurts. I thought he was trolling us. I thought he was just pulling our leg, and then he actually said it, and I was speechless. I didn't know whether to be angry or just I couldn't even control my emotions. But
I wanted him on the Saints. The thing with your receiver is, I think it shocks so many people because I don't think he's that big of a name. And you had this guy from LSU, who clearly is the better pick. But I think we did our study on this guy. This guy had terrible QBs. What would you say?
6 quarterbacks in 2 years.
The worst quarterbacks in arguably like all of the Division
And
I
he
football.
still put up good numbers. And he reminds me of a Tyreek Hill, a small guy who can get.
But he's a burner too, man. His 40 time was amazing.
He's got a good vertical. I think this guy could be a good speed. I mean, you guys still have Deshaun Jackson, right?
Yeah, yep.
You got some 2 good speed guys. Alshon Jeffrey's still there. You got a good tight end. I mean, it could work. You never know.
I agree. It could. I mean, I'm optimistic. I mean, Rager before this season, he was coming off a big junior year. I was seeing him in the 17 to 28 range in some mocks.
Mm-hmm.
But this season just killed him. And then at the combine, he didn't really run like as fast as he was supposed to. I think he ran 4.42, which is still blazing fast, but people were expecting like low 4.3s. And then at his pro day, I mean, pro day times are skewed, but I think he ran 4.28 or something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, he definitely is a burner. There's no doubt in that. And then he has a 42-inch vert to go with it. So he plays bigger than 5'10", 5'11", whatever.
And now would you be okay if they said screw Freeman and bring LaShawn McCoy back in for like one more year?
He's the only veteran running back I'm okay with bringing back because I know he's not going to eat into Miles or Boston's touches and carries.
Yeah.
And I like LaShawn. I don't think he should have ever been traded. So as an Eagles fan, I wouldn't mind bringing him back. But I don't want Freeman and I don't want Hyde because they're both. I mean, Freeman's a little bit because Hyde's coming off a 1,000-yard year last year.
Yeah, he's going to want to play.
Exactly. He's going to want more carries, more touches, and probably even more money than Freeman. I would hate that because you're taking I think Miles has top 10 back potential.
I think the thing with Freeman is I could see Freeman being a toxic because I think he wants to be that star.
Yeah,
but I think with Sanders is a guy that he can rush for 1,000. I think he can receive for a while too. And Freeman, I feel like.
But see, I think Hyde would be one of. I think if Hyde did come in, he would be your power back that's going to get 15 to 18 carries, and then like a Scott would be someone that would come in on a third down for a passing down.
Yeah, but we do it with Sanders then.
Yeah, but
you could do either or.
I'd give Sanders the whole team. I think Sanders.
I think he deserved it.
I agree. That's where I'm coming from. I would just give Miles the keys because I don't like running back by committee. Yeah, it worked during their Super Bowl year, but like that year was just like destiny and everything just fell together. And yeah, Blunt and Ajay, like everyone complimented each other well. They didn't have a guy like Miles or like a guy like LaShawn in his prime. When you have that guy, you take advantage of it for as long as you can. And yeah, running back shelf life is lower than like every other position, but you take advantage of it if you have a stud at that position who's a good percentage higher than like the rest of the average of the league. So I think you just use him to the utmost ability and then sprinkle in Boston for some little runs like Sproles and some screens and some scat back stuff. And I like that more than if I would bring in like a Hyde and have him eating up carries.
And you saw the potential Scott had when everyone was injured. He played well. So I think you could have a good punch there with Sanders and Scott. I don't think you guys need to you don't need to sign anybody to ruin that chemistry they already have.
And like I get saying like we might need a power back, but I think Miles runs pretty good behind his pads. Like he's 5'11", 215. He's like bigger than LaShawn was by I think like 5 pounds. He's not a small guy and he runs with a little bit of pop for being more of an elusive back. And then Boston's like a muscle hamster. Like he doesn't get just hit and fall right down for a guy who's like 5'7". Like he's literally built like a tank for being so short. Yeah. So he's built to last in the NFL with more carries than he's probably going to get like these next couple of years. I hope he stays on the team and I hope he continues to be good because he was so fun to watch last year and so electric when they needed like a lot of big plays and down the stretch to win the East.
Yeah.
I'm just so hyped for football this year, and I just have a feeling that we're not going to have it. I'm going to be devastated because I think this year there's gonna be someone that's gonna pop up that no one's gonna even expect. There's been so many great moves in football this year, so many like great pickups.
Cardinals, man.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that division. You know, the Rams they're falling apart, but you still have Seattle there. You have the 49ers, and yeah, you do have Arizona now.
I think Arizona
could shock everybody.
They got good defense.
Good.
I mean, look at that offense. Fitzgerald and Hopkins. Like, come on now.
You know, even
I like Kenyon Drake too.
Yeah, I do too.
And then you look at a team like Denver, who ended the season on a hot streak, and now you give that Locke kid,
Melvin
lot
Gordon
more weapons.
And Lindsey. That's come on now. You
got Melvin, Lindsey, Judy, Sutton, Hamler, Fant. I mean, that's all young and loaded.
And that defense, you still got Von Miller. I mean, it's not the same defense they had, but that defense still isn't bad.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? In my dynasty draft, I landed Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, you won't be winning this year's fantasy in our league.
We'll see about that. I'm coming for back-to-back. It should be back-to-back-to-back.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you lost.
And then you look at our division, man. You got the Cowboys and the Eagles, who obviously are going to battle for it. But don't sleep on the Giants, man. For some reason, I have a feeling that the Giants are going to have a really, really good year.
I think they'll be better than the Redskins for sure.
Yeah, look at the weapons. Look at the weapons that the Giants have. You know, if they can get a little bit of an improvement out of their defense, you know, they have a pretty easy schedule. You know, they could shock a lot of teams.
I agree. I think their ceiling's like 8-8.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they are a playoff team, but I think 8-8 would shock some people. How many wins they have last year? 4?
8-8 could get you into playoffs this year.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it's right with the expansion. You're correct. I forgot all about that. Yep.
Before you came on, we were talking about how they're pushing for a new onside kick rule, which would be which would be instead of doing the onside kick, you could go for it on a 4th and 15 at least 2 times in a game. We talked about how that's a really cool option, but we feel like in this type of league, a 4th and 15 could be an easy first down.
Exactly. It's so much easier than recovering an onside kick. There's so many like mechanics to perfecting like an onside kick and a recovery. I mean, a 4th and 15, you could just throw it up to Julio Jones and pray he comes down with it.
Yeah, that's why we said it should be like a 4th and 20, it's 4th and 25. You kind of got to make it work for it. Because, like, you don't really see a lot of onside kicks recovered anymore, so it kind of is like a dying thing.
Yep. I mean, the last relevant one I remember is the Super Bowl, Sean Payton.
Yeah, that's for
Yeah,
real.
they shocked everybody. I was at halftime.
Yeah.
Halftime, yep. That's the last relevant one I remember. I mean, I'm sure there were some in regular season games, but
It's the best one of all time.
But it's because of the whole collision thing. They don't want to see concussions, so they don't even let you line up like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that and all, but you can't like demasculate the game so much.
No.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like these people, they signed up. They know what they signed up for, and they're getting paid very well for it. And it's their passion too. So it's not like, and people like Brandon Cooks, who's 5 concussions already. Like, that I understand. He should be cut off, or at least said one more and you're done. But if someone hasn't had one yet, then I don't see why you should just need to change the rules. Like, I don't know. It doesn't really.
So
I get it.
We actually talked to people on here that have actually played in the NFL, and it's in their contracts that they know they're playing at a risk.
Yep.
But they keep changing these rules to make the game better on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you can't even sack quarterbacks a certain way now.
Yep.
And we talked about this in the last podcast, how the running back, it's becoming, I don't want to say it's becoming a dead position, but they want to see quarterbacks throw for 400 or 500 yards a game.
Yep. And I agree with that. I wouldn't say it's a dead position. It's a very lively position, but in the sense that you can replace one with another one that's good in the draft very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Kareem Hunt was like before he made his mistake. He was a 3rd-round pick, and he was a top 5 back.
That's like Kamara. Kamara's a 4th-round pick, and you can get this late-round talent. But speaking of running backs, last podcast we did top 5 wide receiver duos. I got the top 5 list here of running back duos. I'll do number 5, and I'll let you guys guess a couple.
Oh, I saw this already.
Oh, yeah, well, number 5 is
he only brings up the stats that have the Saints involved in them.
Hey, your team's in it.
I know, we're number 3.
No, number 5 is Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard.
Yeah, Tony Pollard's good. I like Tony Pollard.
Yeah, definitely. They're saying Zeke is still one of the NFL's elites, and they're waiting to see more of a breakout from last year's rookie do-it-all.
If they wouldn't have got CeeDee Lamb in the draft, I could easily have seen them plug in a Pollard in the slot like that, because he had 77 receptions in college in 1 year.
Yeah. They're saying that this pair has the most potential to break out because of the power, the pass catching, the speed, the whole combination they have. But number 4 is my New Orleans Saints. Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. The only reason I like this too is because you did see early in the season when Alvin Kamara went down that Latavius Murray got to prove himself again. He proved that he could be a good power
He's
back.
Another one, though. This is like, his 3rd or 4th team? He never got a
Raiders.
chance to be a starter.
Yeah, I have a take on that. I think they're overutilizing Latavius and underutilizing Kamara. When you look at the both of them, I mean, Alvin is head and shoulders above the more talented player.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Latavius runs with more power behind his pass. I don't think anyone would debate that. So you could certainly sprinkle him in on some third and shorts or 2nd and shorts or whatever. But if you watch Kamara highlights or some of his film,
he's hard to tackle.
Oh my God, his contact balance is arguably the craziest contact balance like I literally have ever seen. He just bounces people.
I said that on Tuesday. For such a little guy,
he
slips. Defenders literally talk about how it's hard to tackle him. I mean, he slips out of tackles and keeps his balance.
Yep. I mean, that's really all you need is legs. Like, look at Michael Turner. Like, his thighs were the size of, like, a planet, and that's largely the reason he was successful with all that leg drive. As long as you're thick in your lower half, I mean,
Saquon.
Exactly. Your half shouldn't be small, but as long as it's adequate, I mean, your driving force is going to be your lower half. So
now they said number 3 here is the Jets, Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore. It is the let's see, they would be powered by 2 potential Hall of Fame running backs.
Or this is the thing. This is kind of subjective because are we basing it off like talent right now or just like names on a roster?
That's I don't know.
It's basically
I'm
names.
Taking Zink and Tony Pollard over the last 2 groups mentioned. Probably
they literally
maybe not over Alvin Latavius, but definitely over 3.
They
Definitely over
they
3.
literally write in here. This one might surprise people, but Bell played very well when healthy last year because he wasn't fully healthy, so they're expecting a better year this year. And then you add in Frank Gore, who could do the short yardage situations, which you got to admit,
He's going to play till he's 40.
For how old Frank Gore is, he is playing well.
Hey, he's father time. It's nuts. And he's not like he was an elusive back that would make people miss and didn't take a beating. He was a battering ram. So he's like
number 2, it kind of confused me because number 2 here they have McCaffrey and Davis. I don't really know much about Mike Davis. They literally say on here that he's a journeyman but nothing special.
It's just because of McCaffrey.
Yeah, which McCaffrey, let's be real, McCaffrey arguably is like one of the best offensive weapons in the league right now. When he could put up 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving.
Yep.
He's the only weapon they have, though.
That's true.
Him and DJ Moore, but yeah, that's it.
All right, anybody want to guess number 1?
I know who it is. It's Cleveland.
Yeah, it is Cleveland.
Oh, it should be Cleveland, yeah. They have 2 top 10 potential. Well, one's top 10, and the other one should be top 10 if he was on a starting team.
Well, they said with both running backs could be a number 1 for any other team.
Yeah. I said yesterday in my group text, I actually put that in my group text, and I said, because they were talking about doing the list. They didn't put it out yet. And I was arguing with this guy because he was just bashing Kareem Hunt, always done nothing. And I pulled out the stats. In like 27 games, he had like 2,950 total yards and like 27 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, those are absurd numbers. I would take, if you told me Chubb or Hunt, you're starting an NFL franchise, and Hunt has no problems in his past. None of that all happened. I'm taking Hunt 10 times out of 10.
Oh God,
I just think he does way more. He's a way better receiving back. He doesn't run with as much power, but he still runs with power, and I think he's a little bit more elusive.
And they said the only thing that's gonna be tough for him is if he ever wanted to get that mega contract with everything that's happening. He's not gonna get so many snaps because of how great Chubb is playing.
Yeah.
But you watch. This is going to be the year. Last year they pumped Cleveland up and they had that down season. But this has been a quiet off season for them. They've built that line, the offensive line up. This is going to be the year where they're going to shock people and they're going to win 10 games or more.
You have Kareem Hunt, who's going to be able to play a full season with Chubb. They rebuilt that offensive line. They kept Odell Beckham as far as now. Then they get
Njoku's healthy now.
But they got Njoku. But then they also get Hooper?
Yeah.
So you got another good tight end there. You got Jarvis Landry. A good defense still. I still think that team could be really good.
I agree. I 100% agree.
It's just a tough division.
Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, I don't think they have a shot at winning the division.
No.
I feel like they could sneak a wild card. I'm not as high on the Steelers as all these other analysts seem to be. I mean, maybe Big Ben proves me wrong, but he's coming off a big injury, and I don't know. We'll see if he's washed. I don't think he could be possibly as washed as Phillip Rivers.
No.
Well, my thing is, Jake, we talked about this on Tuesday. They went 7-9 with backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's because the defense is so good. So I definitely could see them sneaking a wild card, but I wouldn't be shocked if like Cleveland would sneak it over them, is what I'm saying. But the defense is so good, they could carry Ben even if he was like average.
Oh, that defense.
In order for Pittsburgh to win that division, they have to beat Baltimore one time.
Yep, I agree. And I hope Juju has a resurgence because I landed him in my dynasty.
That's what we said. It's tough for Juju.
Fingers crossed.
Just the last 5 here. I didn't write anything specific on here, but just so you guys know. Number 6 was the Broncos with Gordon and Lindsey. 7 was the Titans with Henry and Evans. 8 is Barkley with Deion Lewis. Ravens are at 9 with Ingram and Dobbins. And 10 is Chiefs with that rookie they drafted, Clyde Edwards and Williams.
See, there's a couple in that back half that I would put over Gore and Bell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just so everyone knows, the Steelers were number last. I don't know what the Eagles were, though, but the Steelers were last. I know that.
Yeah, well, Boston Scott's not going to get a lot of a hype. I don't know why. I think he's super talented, and Miles is still he surged the second half of the year because he got the keys. But
that was his rookie year last year, right?
Yeah. He in my opinion, I know I'm a little biased. I think he would have landslided the rookie of the year over Jacobs if he had the keys from the start. I mean,
Jacobs. I think Jacobs started off hot and then got quiet.
Don't get me wrong. If I was evaluating both, talent-wise, it's super close. I might edge Jacobs, but I don't know. It's close. I think Miles has a little bit more wiggle, but I think Jacobs is just a little bit more of a natural pass catcher. But Miles is still a good pass catcher, so it's super close. But I mean, I would take either or if we're doing a dynasty draft late in the first round. I
just got some news on my phone that the Jets are gonna start looking at trades again for Jamal Adams because the contract negotiations are not looking good.
He's going to want so much money, though. The thing is, you got to find someone that's willing to trade, and then you have to extend him right away or he's going to sit out.
Yep.
You think about a team that needs that one last piece, though.
Generational safety. He deserves it.
That's what I said.
He does, but like it's getting ridiculous where the price is. It's like it doesn't matter. Like Mahomes is the best quarterback by far in the league.
Oh, I don't even want to know what his contract might seriously touch like 45, 50 million.
Well, they're already saying that Deshaun Watson is in negotiations for 40 to 42 million a year.
Oh God, that's too much for him.
That's Bill O'Brien, you know.
I think he's good. I think he's probably top 10, maybe fringe top 10, but that's a lot of money.
I mean, when you think about what's crazy is every single year these contracts get higher and higher.
You know who that hurts? If Deshaun Watson signs before Dak, Dallas is fucked.
Oh yeah, that was her Dallas.
I gotta bleep that out. Dallas is screwed.
Apparently, that Chris Sims report was false.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
but I tweeted what a moron. Because I mean, if he actually didn't take that, you're turning down $35 million to pass. You could have been passing Amari, Gallup, CD with Zeke and Pollard in the backfield for $35 million per. Like you're locked up with that for what, 3 to 4 years?
Wait, is this the contract that they offered him like 4 weeks ago, or it's $100 million guaranteed?
Well, reported today, but apparently it's a false report.
Well, the contract that was offered to Dak is 5 years for $175 million. What Chris Sims was saying was Dak wants a 4-year deal, but if he takes a 5-year deal, he wants that 5th year to be in the $40 million range because that's where the market's going to be for quarterbacks by then.
Okay.
But see, the whole thing is, and look, Dak has one of the best agents out there. CAA are the toughest people to negotiate with. They do not mess around. And the ball's in Dak's hands. He wants a 4-year contract because the TV deal expires after 4 years. He's going to get a new deal, which means more money, which means larger salary caps. So he's playing this well. You know, no matter what, it's a win for him. If he doesn't sign, he gets $31 million this year. Next year, the franchise tag will be $39 million, and then the following year after that, it'll be almost $50 million for the Cowboys to sign him on a 3rd tag. So he's playing it well.
I agree with everything you say. I just slightly disagree on everything.
That's what I said.
On everything. On one thing, I don't think it's a win-win. I think there's a small percentage of chance, and I don't think it's likely to happen at all because I think he's a good quarterback. If he goes out there with that receiving core and that offensive line and that running back tandem, and say they don't make playoffs and they go 8-8 or 9-7, you think Dallas is, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones aren't saying, maybe we got to start thinking about moving up in the draft or, thinking about our future at the quarterback position? I don't think it would be out of the question.
Well, they have the Red Rocket there now. You give Dalton all those freaking weapons, man.
Yeah, he might look good. I agree. I mean, he wasn't that. He was definitely above average.
Well, we read the stats off here one time.
Plus,
he never had many weapons, and he still put up pretty good stats.
And they just drafted that quarterback from James Madison or something like that. The Gaethje guy or whatever the hell his name.
My thing with this contract, Jake, is you have a team that offers you 5 years, right? Number one, look at the team that you have right now. You could be the quarterback for that team.
Yeah,
I think it was $100 million guaranteed, and you would be paid the highest NFL player in the league.
But the thing is, and it's nothing against any other team in the NFL. I'm not saying this because I'm a Cowboys fan. When you play for the Dallas Cowboys, the Joneses take care of you.
And why would y'all just take that contract? $100 million guaranteed. Like, if you can't live off that.
Troy Aikman owns land outside of Dallas because he's in the real estate business because he was given land by Jerry Jones. They take care of their own. You know what I mean? So yeah. He's going to make money, but if you bite the hand that feeds you, you're eventually going to find yourself out.
My thing is, you think about how much money they're offering you, how much money you'll make off endorsements. It's like, you think about how much swagger your team has. Why would you not just sign? Let me lock up for 5 years and play with this amazing team.
It's a business now.
That's a lot of money for a business, though.
I agree with that, but I think, this is just my opinion, I think some players take that it's a business thing too far.
They do.
Like, don't get me wrong, they have every right to because of how owners, GMs treat players once they're, I'll use the word using them, but you know what I mean. Once their use and their value to them is up. Mm-hmm. And I understand why players hold out and they want more money because of that business aspect and they almost to get back at, the people that, drafted them and that they've been playing for how long. But at the same time, if you're getting paid that contract and it's the highest amount, you're on America's team, biggest spotlight, and you have those weapons, I mean, personally, I mean, I'm not in his shoes, obviously. I would snap call. I would be all in right away.
Oh yeah.
But,
Jake,
I mean-
we've had athletes that have played in the NFL on this podcast straight up tell us when we asked them this question that it's more important for some of these players to get money than win a Super Bowl anymore nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I definitely get that. I mean, there's one team that wins a Super Bowl every year, obviously, and there's how many teams that are bad for multiple years in a row. I mean, it's not a high percentage chance at all, even if you're a good quarterback, unless you're like Patrick Mahomes, to win a Super Bowl. So I understand that you would rather just have the money and, you know, maybe a long career, successful career, and just take the money and you have your family, your kids' families, and their kids' families, and maybe even their kids' families are supported, all college paid, all that, and then you just retire and you'll be happy, you know, probably find a nice beach home and just call it a career and retire.
Well, you know what aggravates me the most is the owners. They could stop all of this if they would. You know what? This whole next man up, like there's right now nobody in the NFL other than Patrick Mahomes should be higher than Russell Wilson as far as money. You know, you keep getting these quarterbacks to be like, oh, yeah, you know what? It's my contract time. I want to be the highest paid. No. Why give this person number one money when you're not the number one quarterback in the NFL? I can put 5 or 6 quarterbacks ahead of Dak Prescott. Not saying he's bad. He's good. He's not elite.
And that's my biggest thing is he's fighting for this money, but as good as a quarterback as he is, he has not proven anything yet. I don't think – how many games has he won in the playoffs? You know what I mean? Like –
he's been there more than Romo.
Yeah, I get that, but you think about how many people we could name that are better than him.
Yeah,
Mahomes, Watson, Russell Wilson.
Has Romo ever had like what Dak has around him though?
No, Romo. I mean, he had weapons on offense, but he never had a defense.
I think probably 8 out of 10 people would say Romo's a more talented quarterback, just like pure talent than Dak.
Well, he's my favorite quarterback. He's actually my favorite player on the Cowboys ever, Romo. I loved watching him.
No, don't get me wrong. I hated playing against him, but I love his commentating, and like he was magical to watch. Like he had a little bit of like Brett Favre in his game, and that
he had to run for his life every play.
You know, but there has to be the owners have to draw a line in the sand, say enough's enough. Just like Amari Cooper, is he the second best receiver in the league? No,
not at all.
No, he don't deserve $20 million a year.
One game, yes. The next 7 games, no.
Yeah, that's why we talk about how players should have to perform for their contracts, almost like basketball. You talked about that one time. Because, like you said, you get these players who, first of all, don't even finish their contract. They sit out when there's 2 years left and be like, I want more money. Like,
yeah, Melvin Gordon messed up.
Yeah. Oh, Melvin Gordon messed up big.
The thing, back for Dak for 1 second, the thing that aggravates me the most about Dak, and everyone says, oh, he had great stats. A lot of those were freaking garbage stats that came late in games.
Don't trust me. My group text would light it up. Oh, here comes garbage time.
Yeah,
back.
But my thing is he had 5 weeks in order to get us into the playoffs. Couldn't do it against Buffalo. Couldn't do it against – we didn't even score a touchdown against Chicago to the fourth quarter.
And then they scored only 10 against the Eagles, right? In the
scored 9 points against the freaking Eagles.
Yep.
And then he comes back and throws for 303 and 3 touchdowns against the Redskins. Yep. But you could have beaten New England. You know, you could have beaten Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's be realistic. Those rosters, Eagles and Cowboys, with all the Eagles injuries, I mean, if those two teams played 10 times, the Cowboys probably should win 6 or 7 with what the rosters were, in my opinion. And that's just
Jake, I was at that game.
Yeah.
And during warm-ups, I said to Hunter and I said to my daughter's boyfriend, the Cowboys are going to lose this game. If you would have seen how the Eagles came out in warm-ups, it was like they were playing a playoff game.
Well, the Eagles had
nothing
to lose at the time.
The Cowboys looked arrogant. They were like they weren't cocky, but you saw the Eagles had a big team huddle on the field. They were jumping around. They were pumped.
You know what I think plays a huge factor into that? That a lot of those players would like take their shirts off their back for Doug Peterson and they'd go to war for him.
Oh yeah.
I would say 70% probably. Maybe I'm high on this. I like to just throw percentages out there. But maybe 70% of that Cowboys locker room probably would not have gone to war for Jason Garrett. All those reports coming out, and rightfully so. I literally think he's the most overrated. Well, he wasn't even overrated, but I don't know how he had all those years with all that talent and literally basically did nothing besides the Dez catch year, which could have maybe transcended to something. Yeah. But that's another conversation.
And at the time, too, you think everybody was like, okay, the Eagles aren't making playoffs. They're on their secondaries. They're on their backups. And
I was calling tank. Yeah, I was calling.
You go out there, man. You go out there with the attitude like, what do we have to lose? And then they beat Dallas in their own home, and then they end up going to the playoffs. But when you fuel that into your brain, like all that doubt that people are giving you, and Dallas walks in like, oh, we got this.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad Dallas lost that game because it gave us CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, I would probably rather have CeeDee Lamb right now too. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I would still rather be in the playoffs and beat Dallas for a division title anytime.
Yeah.
But
And now, just real quick, getting back to Jamal Adams. If I was a team who I needed that one more key piece to get to the playoffs, I would absolutely, like, you think about the Browns. The Browns got a lot of money. The Browns get a good safety in there and they extend him.
I mean, the Eagles should look at him. They just let Malcolm walk, and now they're playing Jalen Mills at safety with Rodney McLeod, who's a pretty serviceable. He's good. He's solid. They're either going to be playing Jalen Mills at safety or Will Parks, who they signed over from the Broncos.
And you think about it, if you have the money to sign this guy, like this guy he plays with such heart. Like he's you can easily say he's the best safety in the league right now.
The thing that sucks though is you're going to have to give up 2 draft picks and you're going to have to pay the guy $17 million a year.
I'd give up a first round.
You got your back end locked for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
You do, but you're hoping that the salary cap goes up next year.
You think about the Bills, who's got an amazing defense. Yeah, Michael Hyde's back there. He's good, but imagine you could throw in a Jamal Adams in there also. That's a lockdown defense where you're not throwing the ball much. Even the Steelers, even though they got Patrick.
I mean, Dallas hasn't had a safety since Darren Woodson. We need one, but
you got Clinton Dix.
Roy Williams.
Yeah, Roy Williams was good.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
They kind of converted him though. When he went to Minnesota, didn't he turn into a corner?
I don't remember. I feel like he would have been a horrible corner. I would have put him in a box more because he could lay the boom.
He was a hell of a hitter, but in a league like today, man, you're going to end up getting a lot of personal fouls.
Yeah, I agree. That's like if the Eagles didn't let Malcolm walk, I would feel the most confident I felt about the Eagles secondary. Probably
so happy he came back home.
Yeah, it's probably since like the Lito Shepherd, Sheldon Brown days, that Brian Dawkins and Michael Lewis. Like literally since those days, this would be the most confident I felt in a secondary. Maybe the dream team year though, but that was just
he made our defense feel a lot better, and then we get a steal in the second round with that linebacker from Wisconsin. Just our defense looks amazing right now.
I wouldn't mind if the Eagles took him, Zach Bond.
Yo, there's a rumor out there that Vince McMahon is trying to buy the XFL out of bankruptcy.
Wow.
Tell me he doesn't know that college football might not play, and you might get something like a G League where you get these guys that come and play XFL for a season and get paid.
I think that college and the NFL will happen. I just think there'll be no fans.
Well, Ohio State's opening up, and they're saying that they're going to have up to 20 to 50,000 fans in their stadium
rather than 100.
They're saying they're open.
They don't know what it's going to be come August. I mean, it could be completely in the clear, like in green phase, all go, but we'll see, I guess.
Hey, Jake, I just want to say something real quick. You're a Red Sox fan, right?
Yeah, but I'm not a diehard baseball.
I just want to say
I root for the Phillies too as like my NL team.
I was gonna say they got a slap on the wrist with the whole cheating.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're after trading Mookie and the whole cheating thing, and it's going downhill. They still have some players: Xander, Rafael Devers.
Oh yeah, they still got a lot of players locked in there.
They still have like a talented roster, but it's not like a deep playoff run talented roster now for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be baseball this year. I really don't. They can't get over the whole money situation.
Oh yeah, that's crazy how they want to cut players' salaries. Such greedy owners, dude.
Yeah, and then did you see the rules? Like you can't have seeds, you can't chew tobacco, you can't basically high five, you can't celebrate, you can't do anything.
It's too much.
Sounds like the no fun league.
And if you're like on the roster but you're not playing, you have to sit in the stands. You can't even be in the dugout.
Yep.
That's too much. It's at that point, might as well just cancel the season.
Yeah, how about Alex Bregman? He changed his agent right? Because his agent merged with another agency that has LeBron James on it, and LeBron James is doing that documentary on the Astros cheating.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
Tyler, I have a question for you.
If you're going to talk about the Saints and the porn, we talked about that already.
Wait, what?
So there's an adult porn website. I have the name here real quick for you. That the Saints contract with Mercedes-Benz is going to end at the 2021. They don't want to re-sign with them because they are with the Falcons. And today, the porn thing, their name here is Strip Chat. They bid $15 million today to have this to be the Saints' name.
Wow.
Yeah.
First Bountygate, now porn site.
I said that'd be stupid if they picked that. But my dad's over here like, oh, business.
It is. It's a business. I mean, porn is a billion-dollar industry.
No, I agree.
But they said we feel like we represent the people of New Orleans. We want to penetrate our industry.
I'm sure they're not going to have like dildos hanging from the light poles and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the people in New Orleans are they're out there. They're kind of like Eagles fans.
But
that's the perfect place for that to have that happen.
Yeah, exactly. No, what I was gonna say though is why is Michael Thomas such a crybaby?
Oh, here we go.
Number one.
They said he's the Alex Smith of the NFL.
This is ridiculous. I mean, Devontae Parker responds to an Instagram post saying, "Would you rather have to guard Michael Thomas after a catch, or would you rather be covered by Stephon Gilmore?" And he said, "I'd rather."
He just put A. All he did was put A. And Michael, listen, this is my view on it, Jake.
Here we go.
Do I think Michael Thomas is one of the best receivers in the league? Absolutely.
Best slot receiver in the league.
Do I think I'm not going to get in that right now because it's a whole other podcast.
4% completion rating over passes over 20 yards.
Do I think that he is a little crazy outside on the social media world? Absolutely. Do I think football needs to be a little harder and everyone needs to get over it? Yes.
I agree, and I don't think he's the top. I think he's third.
Jake, let me ask you something.
Let me just chime in real quick. I'm still up here. I get terrorized every day, Jake, because these two are Dallas fans, and all they do is talk about Michael Thomas. It's my turn. They talk about Michael Thomas all day. They're talking about all he. Listen, this is where it goes. This is how it first started.
Here we go.
Drew Brees is the quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's never had a good quarterback. Drew Brees throws him 300 times. All he does is run slant routes. Number one, you take away slant routes, he still leads the league in reception yards, beats everybody in the NFL.
He leads the league in yards after the catch.
Number two is why is it that it's he's slant routes. It's a good QB. Why can't it just be like, okay, he's a good receiver?
Jake, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
If you take Michael Thomas and you put him on a team with two other good receivers, does he get targeted 180 to 200 times a season?
He might. You don't know.
No,
You can't predict that.
But to be fair to Tyler and Saints fans, if you could say that about any receiver and they're not getting them.
Thank you. You know what? What's funny, Jake, is they terrorize me. But when Zeke was having all these good years, all you guys heard from Eagles fans was the only reason Zeke's good is because he has a good line. The only reason Zeke's good is because he got. I never once terrorized you guys.
When you have Michael Thomas and the second best receiver in your team is Alvin Kamara, that's a problem.
Why is it a problem?
That's a problem. That's why he had 100.
For him.
Yeah, for him. But that's why he had 140 receptions. When you're targeted that much, that just tells me there's no other weapons on the team.
We will find out this year because Jared Cook will be fully healthy. Emmanuel Sanders is in there. Traquan Smith will be healthy. And if he's not top 5 receiver this year, come yell at me. Tell me it was because of his slant routes.
Fact.
I still think he's a stud and he's a freak. He's top 3 to me.
He is.
Because his yak's ridiculous, and he still has good jump ball ability, and his route running is ridiculous.
His hands are great.
Great hands.
And for how big he is, I wouldn't say he's fast, but he's fast enough. He ran, 4.57?
Yeah.
Like, that's fast enough at his size. But I'm still taking Julio, even in his age right now. And I still think I'm taking DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm taking Hopkins because he's a threat across the middle and over the top, where Michael Thomas is. Now, look, some of this you can blame on Drew. Drew does not have the arm strength that he used to have. I mean, you go back 3 or 4 years ago, the Saints were throwing the ball all over the place. They probably led the NFL in passes over 20-plus yards for touchdowns.
Yep.
They don't have those same weapons.
I said to you, though, when's the last time the Saints have had a healthy deep threat? Ted Ginn's been their biggest deep threat, and he's injured every year. We'll see it this year with Emmanuel Sanders.
The worst thing the Saints did was let that Snead guy walk.
Willie Snead.
Yeah, he's on the Ravens now.
Yeah.
Listen, I always go into this, too. Listen, as much as Drew Brees throws to Michael Thomas, you think about the weapons he also threw to. He had a good Jared Cook. At the end, the last 5 games of the season, you could easily say Jared Cook was a top 5 tight end. He throws to Taysom Hill a lot. He throws to Alvin Kamara a lot. He throws to Ted Ginn, and he also throws to Traquan Smith if he's healthy. Michael Thomas may be getting a lot of receptions, but you cannot tell me that there's also like 4 other solid weapons that he throws to. You know what I mean? Like, you keep saying there's no other number 2, but look at why would you not throw it Alvin Kamara if he could break 5 tackles and run 30 yards?
Yeah, I agree.
But
all you said though, I would give all the damn Eagles receivers just to have fucking. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to curse. That's my fault.
That's all right. I already dropped the F-bomb too, but
I would trade all of them to just literally have Michael Thomas and then build around that.
yeah, but you see, the problem is with having one weapon, defenses can take that away. Dallas did it to the Saints twice.
Nobody did it last year, though. We literally had your Dallas host on. He hosts the Dallas radio station, has every Dallas player on. He came on this podcast and said, who's better than Michael Thomas? You can't stop him.
But we didn't. He didn't say Dallas didn't shut them down. Dallas shut that team down 2 years in a row.
Who won?
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, if you get good teams that take away Michael Thomas, can stop
Who's
the
done
run.
it? Even Noah said, who's done it?
But have you won anything?
Listen, what I can say is what I can say that is nice is you get a lot of players in this league who will get a mega contract and they kind of they don't play their full game. They kind of slack off a little bit. You can truly say after Michael Thomas got his contract, look what he did the year after. He did not take a slack off. He gave it his all. He broke history. I mean, you got to give him that credit.
Yeah, I agree. The most perfect example of what you just said, like literally, like the most perfect example is Albert Hainsworth.
Yeah.
He got, oh my God, I think he got the biggest defensive lineman contract ever, and then he had that play where he fell down and he just didn't get up, and then did he kick a helmet? No, that was Ndamukong Suh. What did he do? I think he did kick someone, though.
He did.
Or
he stomped on a groin or something like that.
Yeah, stomped on a groin, or something like that, and then he was a bust from there on out.
Why do you think nobody wants to sign Clowney? Because they know if they lock him into a big-time deal, he's done.
Yeah, and I think there's multiple reasons. A, he's had problems with his knees. B, if you look at his sack numbers, I wouldn't say they're pedestrian, but they are pedestrian for a player that has as much prowess and talent as him coming out. I mean, he was literally like touted as the generational pass rusher ever.
His tackle numbers are great, but his sack numbers aren't.
Yeah, his tackle for loss numbers are great because he's a freak. He's an athletic freak, but his sack numbers, they're above average. They're definitely.
He needs to get in there more for how big he is, and if they're going to pay him, he needs to get in there more.
Exactly.
All right. Real quick, since we're over the hour mark, let's go through each division quick, and everyone pick a team that's going to win that division.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jake. You start. We'll do the NFC East last.
Okay. Start with the AFC East.
I'm gonna say Buffalo.
I'm gonna go Bills. Yeah. Are we all answering or just everyone?
Yeah, we're all answer. Who's in that division again?
I tell you what, it's gonna be Buffalo and the Jets out of them two.
Jets. I'm low on the Jets. I think their schedule's tough.
Miami's in that division, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins might be better than the Jets.
I think the Dolphins might make the wild card this year.
Didn't the Dolphins end the season 5-2?
Yeah, I think so. And Devontae Parker had a resurgence. So Kenyon Drake's not there anymore. Who's their running back now? Jordan Howard and Matt Breida too. They got Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I think out of everyone, I'm taking the Bills to win the division. I think Dolphins will be number 2.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. I think either Jets or Dolphins will be 2.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Go to the AFC North after that?
Yeah.
I'm taking Ravens all day. I think the Ravens will be good again.
I'm taking the Ravens as well.
But I'm saying the Ravens, but I think the Steelers are going to be there.
I'm saying the Browns will be second in that division.
No way.
AFC South is the questionable one because I feel like every year that division's up for a fight. I don't see the Jaguars winning. I don't see
I say Colts all day.
I say Titans.
I don't say Colts. I say Titans too.
I just think, I traded away Derrick Henry in Dynasty, but I got a haul for it, so I kind of have to. But besides that point, I love Derrick Henry. And I was wrong about him. I didn't think he'd be good coming in the NFL. I thought he ran too high for how big he was. But the dude's a beast.
You know what's funny about the Titans?
A.J. Brown.
The quarterback, the running back, and the GM all have the same agent. Could you imagine negotiating those contracts?
That's interesting.
Could you imagine being the GM, you get your deal signed, and now you have to negotiate with your own agent to sign your running back and your quarterback?
Yep.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm
taking the Chiefs in the AFC West. I don't sleep on the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to have a good push this year, but I think the Chiefs are going to win that division.
I agree.
I think the Raiders and Chargers will be horrible in my opinion. But
I don't know. I think the Raiders showed signs of hope last year, but went 7-9. Some of their key
wasn't Mahomes on the Madden cover last year?
And he won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Last year he was on the cover, so this year he's gonna have the Madden jinx.
No, usually it's the year after, and he broke that. He won the Super Bowl.
I thought he was on the cover last year, so he won a Super Bowl. So it's the year after that. So this will be the year he has the down year.
I don't know. We'll save the NFCs for last since you guys don't want to do that one yet. NFC North is tough.
Wait, what about
No,
the West?
no,
West. We didn't do the
He was-
West.
We
he
did the
was
West.
right.
We said Chiefs.
Okay.
He was right though. He beat the curse because I won a free copy of Madden over summer, and then the season happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone thought it was going to be the curse, though, because he hurt his ankle at first.
Yeah.
But in the NFC North, I really want to say Vikings over Packers.
Yeah.
But I think the story in that division is going to be Nick Foles coming up in the Bears and taking the Super Bowl like the Eagles did.
Not enough weapons there.
So I landed David Montgomery in my dynasty, kind of like a buy low because of how much hype he had last year. And I like his talent, his skill set. He's hard to tackle. That line was just terrible.
Yeah, but I had him in fantasy last year, and they hardly used him in beginning of the year.
Yeah, because Nagy's an idiot. But, I mean, I hope he comes around. Like, if you watch his highlights, he is a brick horse trying to bring him down to the ground. And I liked him coming out of Iowa State, too. I wouldn't have minded if the Eagles took him, but they took Miles. I like Miles more. But
I think Minnesota has the best weapons in that division.
I agree. I'd probably lean Minnesota, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers took it, and then I'd put the Bears 3.
Yeah. NFC South, I'm taking the Saints just because I haven't seen as much weapons as Brady has. I want to see 5 games with them before I can say that they're going to win that division. I'm taking the Saints.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm taking Tampa Bay. Brady's already working with his team, working with his receivers, and I think he's going to put the work in to do it.
This is a tough one.
They have the best run defense in the league last year.
Saints have a great defense, too.
Whose defense I think I like more, and I think I like the Saints more, so I'm going to take the Saints.
It's hard to play in that dome.
Although I did say that Drew Brees is going to get hurt and Winston's going to come in and throw for 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Oh, actually, just a little side note is that Sean Payne came out again. There's a lot
Taysom
of
Hill is
inside,
gonna be
lot of inside people saying, "Don't get it wrong. Sean Payton has his guy. It's not Winston." I don't believe it yet. But NFC West, I am taking the Seahawks. I think that they will beat the 49ers, at least split that games in the season. I like the Seahawks all day.
I'm going to take the Seahawks as well. I think Garoppolo has a little bit of a regression, but that's just my opinion. I don't like him that much.
I could see the 49ers making playoffs.
Seattle went 9-1 last year in games where they won by less than 7 points. I don't think they're going to repeat that. I think they're going to have a down year. Dallas is going to go into week 3 and beat them in Seattle. I'm going to shock everyone. I'm taking Arizona.
Okay.
Wow. It's a hot take, but it's a respectable hot take. I don't mind that.
And now the NFC East. I'm taking Dallas just because nothing against the Eagles, Jake. I just think that there's too much talent on that team. If they lose, and they need to change a lot in that organization.
I agree. As an Eagles fan, obviously I would say Eagles. As like an non-biased, objective fan, I would say Dallas right now. But it's a long season and
Absolutely. And do not sleep on the Giants. I'm telling you.
If Jalen Rager's good, I think that boosts the Eagles' chances a lot better because they need that receiver that can just be good.
I'm going to say the same thing I said last year. It's going to come down to the head-to-head matchups between Dallas and Philadelphia.
I agree, and they usually lately they've split. But
I think Dallas has a lot of problems, not as far as the roster goes, as far as you're bringing in all new coaches and you can't practice. Virtue training is not going to help them. I think it's going to be tough. You're going to have a whole new defensive scheme and you can't work hands-on. Although Dallas does have the third easiest schedule on paper, I still say it's going to come down to that head-to-head at the end of the year.
Yeah, and with saying that, I guess it's going out on a limb here, but I just personally feel like the Eagles team is more comprised of like blue-collar guys.
Yeah.
So I think they're better suited for this, maybe not as much mandatory, training camps and all that and, off-season virtual programs. That's just, it's probably a hot take and going out on a limb. But I don't know. That's just the vibe I get just from like the past couple of years and how the teams have played together. Because I definitely do feel like the Eagles play more as a unit than the Cowboys do.
Yeah.
Because I think most people will agree if the Cowboys play 100% at their best, especially last year, that they have a better roster than the Eagles. They should win. But I just feel like the Eagles play more together with what they have. So that's usually the difference.
Yeah. I think the offense, Dallas is going to be fine. I think they're going to, because Kellen Moore is there, he's staying. So it's going to be the same offense. I just think defensively, everyone's talking bad about Dallas's corners. And I think that was all because of Chris Richard and his stupid freaking ways. They said that they had to play and they couldn't move and disguise things. They had to play their positions and that was it. So it could be a change, but I think it's going to be a tough change because of all the new defensive coordinators coming in.
Who's it going to be now? Chidobe Awuzie and
We got
Jordan Lewis.
He's good.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis. Wow, that is kind of weak though.
Well, you got those two guys in the draft. You have that.
In the draft at corner.
They drafted 2.
Oh damn! I don't remember who it was.
And plus, we got Clinton Dix. We have somewhat of a decent
And
safety.
you got Gerald McCoy.
Plus, we have Anthony Brown yet, who just got signed by them, who was pretty decent. I mean,
Yep, I remember him.
yeah. But I'm gonna say it's gonna come
Diggs from Alabama.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to that game against the Eagles.
I agree.
Well, Jake, we enjoyed having you on today. That was fun.
Appreciate it, man. For sure. Anytime I'll come on.
Yeah, I love talking sports.
Oh, I love talking sports too, and it's so refreshing with everything that's going on.
Hey, one quick before we head out of here. Basketball is talking about coming back, and they're going to talk about playing 3 more games because they have to get to at least 70 games to fulfill the contracts for TV. And they're talking about playing in Orlando or Vegas, I guess, because that's where the summer league is.
They were talking about playing outside as well.
Yeah, they're going to play 3 more games and then jump right into the playoffs, and then they're talking about moving the season to a starting point of starting in December and only playing 70 games from now on.
And then the GOAT gets his 4th ring.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Are you a Jordan GOAT guy?
No, I'm a Sixers fan.
We're a Jordan GOAT fan.
Oh,
You don't think Michael Jordan's the GOAT?
I do not. I think he's second.
I mean, I don't know.
I think it's tough to compare. I think it's 2 different types of eras. I think Michael Jordan would be his GOAT because he watched it. But I think for me and you, Jake, obviously we grew up watching LeBron.
I think it's different. The sport's different now.
I think different in the sense that it's way more talented now.
I think it's easier to score now with how easy it is to get a foul.
Because you got to put Kobe in the mix too.
I don't think hand checking really. Like, I've watched clips of Steve Kerr's scrawny self driving to the rim and getting layups like almost uncontested, and people were there to do something about it, and you couldn't play zone either.
Yeah, so but if you watch that documentary, you watch how they keyed in on players. Like, when they knew Jordan was their key master scorer, they literally speared him. So if you're telling me they knew LeBron was going to drop 50 points, they would do everything in their power to RKO that man so that he doesn't score.
The game was different. I mean, you had a lot of 7-foot centers that actually played the position, not like Embiid. It was a different time.
Yeah, but a lot of 7-foot centers like Bill Laimbeer that was just an enforcer that would have no place in today's NBA.
Yeah, but you had Ewing, you had Olajuwon, don't
get me wrong, Hakeem. I think Hakeem would still be a mega stud in today's era.
Yeah.
There was Jordan's era versus like the era now. It was John Stockton, Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Hakeem, and who was the 5th? Oh my gosh, it's gonna bother me.
Well, you had Ostertag with Utah, who was good too, and then you had David Robinson.
Okay, so it was John Stockton, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and Hakeem Olajuwon against Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm sorry, I cannot see today's era not winning that series in 4 or 5.
I don't know. I agree with you. I think what's just tough is that you
got a lot of better shooters today.
Yeah, but I think what's tough is that it's 2 different eras. Like, we obviously got to grow up with LeBron. We didn't really get to watch Jordan. You know, if they both played at the same time, I think it'd be like, okay, we could easily tell which one's better.
Yeah, and that's what sucks about it, because like I could argue till I'm blue in the face, and what's like hard about it is you'll never know, because it's never going to happen. It's just the simple thing of time. Like, the eras are different.
Yeah, it's
like you didn't see a lot of 3-point shooters back in the day. A lot of it went through your center down low. You know, your center averaged almost 30 points a game. The thing with the Bulls, though, is they never really had a center.
Yeah, it was just Horace and then
Wellington, fucking Longley.
Yeah. But I think this team would handle that area, because you think about Steph on Stockton. I mean, that's such a mismatch.
You know what? You name your 5 that you just named from today's day and put them against the Dream Team. I think the Dream Team takes them.
It's close. I think that's a way better argument, though. Yeah. Because this list, though, I think there's mismatches galore.
I think their picks weren't that good.
Durant on Scottie. I mean, Scottie's one of the greatest defenders of all time, but I don't think he's going to be able to just shut down arguably the most gifted scorer of all time. And I can't stand Durant as a person, but that's besides the point.
Well, you think about if you look back in the 90s, the only person you really heard about that was a 3-point threat was Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Where nowadays you have Scott, Steph Curry, you have Thompson, you have all these different, so many different
I
guys.
mean, almost everybody on the team can shoot a three.
Yeah.
I mean, you even have centers shooting threes now, like Embiid.
Yeah.
And LeBron and Jordan would be obviously the most interesting to watch, but I struggle to believe that 215-pound Michael Jordan would have had an easy time with 260-pound prime LeBron. I mean, I think.
And the only argument that I really agree with that I've gotten out of this documentary is that you had Jordan who never left. Like, there was nothing there talent-wise, and they built that team. He never left. You know, obviously LeBron won wherever he went, but he also went to teams that were loaded sometimes. And I know sometimes he went to a team that he like brought talent with, like the Lakers, for example. He brought talent, but there's teams that he went to, like the Heat. Like the Heat had a pretty good team already.
Yeah.
You know, I did hear an interesting fact though through this whole thing with Jordan. I didn't know he had a 13-game hit streak in baseball.
Yeah, he did. He started off hot, and then he like faded. I think he ended up batting like 212.
Well, you also had the catchers telling what pitch was coming.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh my god. Oh, it's on mine. Oh yeah. To your one point you said, Tyler, about like him changing teams and stuff like that. What Jordan was never able to do was carry a horrible team, which the Bulls were, past that first round, past the second round, let alone the first round, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
LeBron carried that Cavs team to the finals. Like Zdrunas Ilgauskas, Eric Snow, was Delonte West on that team. Like that team was horrible.
I'll give you that. I'm not saying LeBron's that good. Like I think that's just it's tough to pick.
Well, you got Jordan did almost do it though when they played Boston in the 80s. You know, he almost took them. But he did it himself. He had 55 one game and 45 another, and they didn't really have anyone there yet.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
it's a touchy subject. But
No,
I just don't think you can pick one as being the best.
I think that's an argument. I mean, I guess it's just like LeBron's from my era, so I'm fighting for my guy, and then like the older people are like, oh, millennials, I'm for Jordan. How could you think that? LeBron's weak-minded and all this stuff. But that's part of what makes sports fun, debating.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's like saying Brady or Montana.
Yeah. I'd take Montana.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
if I'm being frankly honest, if you put Peyton Manning on those Pats teams, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, that's all the time that we have for today. We'll happily have you on again if you ever want to come back on.
Definitely.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it, and as always, go Birds.
We'll see you, Jake.
Yep, see you, man.
And we hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We'll be up for you. YouTube is always usually a day behind, but we hope you guys have fun in quarantine and stay safe.
Sorry about that F-bomb, but it slipped.
See ya.